that whole try before you buy is all well and good in a month or 3 month intern, but when you're applying for a job, be honest.
So for candidates coming into the industry, fresh or with a bit of sales experience from outside that are looking to get into FX, what would you say are the 3 key points you would give someone, or key bits of advice for someone coming in?
Well, there's 2 separate answers. What I would look for is attention, be attentive in the interview, obviously show up on time. Don't be a bell end. Can you say that?
Yeah, I think you can say that, yeah.
And do your research. The number of times I've asked the question of why do you want to work here, and they don't really have an answer other than, well, my recruiter said to say this. And it's like immediately, right, if you don't have the time to read through
That's not us though, right? We didn't do that. None of our candidates say that.
But yeah, do some research and turn up to an interview actually wanting the job. And yeah, fair enough, sometimes in role profiles there isn't enough clarity. That's what the question section's for. And yeah, so advice, very much research, visualize yourself in that company, in that role. Does that tick the boxes for, how long you want to satisfy the next step in your career? Personally, if I can't see myself sort of really succeeding or retiring from a company, I'd question why I wanted to start there. But again, similarly, you may just be wanting a bit of experience so you can move on in a certain time period. And be honest about it. I would not have a problem effectively sponsoring talent for 2 years. Come fresh from university, have a good 2-year stint, and then potentially move on. No problem at all. But that's because I back myself and we've got the flexibility in our business to, if you're good enough and your talent I want to retain, I'll find something else for you to do. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, I think there is too much, I suppose, focus on like the internship, the serial interners who, again, when I came out of uni, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it's not a criticism of lack of experience, but that whole try before you buy is all well and good in a month or 3 month intern, but when you're applying for a job, be honest. And because if you're not, it will probably come through. And then you'll be disregarded.
There's quite a big disparity that we see of candidates who, when you're speaking of a company, they're almost doing it for job's sake compared to people who come back and be like, I've researched this, I found out this, like I know this.
And do you know why?
All of that, and it screams volumes.
Because it's bloody hard work. And I remember when I got my degree, I was like, oh yeah, I've done it. And then this sense of entitlement came in. It's like, right, where are the jobs? And it's not actually that easy. And I remember just punting out application after application just because it was a done thing and I was out of work. But yeah, absolutely. If any one of those had just picked up the phone going, I've just got your CV, why do you want the job? I just want a job would have been the honest answer.
Yeah.
And I think you need to invest a little bit more time in the process. A, if you're going to succeed, and B, if it's going to be a success for you. Because, my first job wasn't a good fit because I hadn't done enough research, I didn't know enough about the actual market that it was serving, and ultimately when I started doing it, I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah. Most people fail their jobs because they didn't research. They had an vision of what that's going to be, and it wasn't that vision in their head 6 months later, so they leave the position. It's something that happens time and again.
It's something for the recruiters to do.
Well,
certainly for the graduate talent coming through, it's like, do you know what you're getting into?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I've read the role profile. Yeah, but have you read the website from top to toe? No. Well, why don't you go and do that before the interview? Because you want to align your aspirations, what you back as your talent, and what you think they're looking for, both in terms of what we understand from the client, what the role profiles suggest, and what we've discussed privately. Because if you can marry those two together, then wonderful. Hopefully your conversion will improve.
Good for us.
You're trying to say?
But what I'm saying is it's difficult on both sides because the investment of time that you've got to put into it with no guaranteed return.
Yeah.
Everybody is time poor, but that's the biggest challenge. Now, the least time poor in the workplace are those with no experience. What are you doing right now? Nothing. Why not? Because I don't know what to do. Research. and then get a foot in the door and then perform.